Hi, this video is to explain the rule for dividing fractions. So the rule for division is you multiply by the reciprocal. Multiply by the reciprocal is the correct terminology for that. A lot of times we use the phrase keep, change, flip to help us remember that we're multiplying by the reciprocal. If we did something like 10 times 2, what are we multiplying by here? We're multiplying by 2. So the multiply by the reciprocal part is the change and the flip, which refers to the number after the division sign. So we're going to always keep the first number, change the division sign to multiplication, and then flip the second number, because what you're flipping is after the sign, multiply by the reciprocal. So what you flip is the second value. So the reciprocal of 5/8 is 8/5. So keep the first value the same, change the division sign to multiplication, flip the second value. 7 times 8/5 would be the correct way to solve 7 divided by 5/8. So if I wanted to actually come up with the answer here, I would change my whole number to a fraction by putting it over 1 and then multiply straight across. 7 times 8 is 56. 1 times 5 is 5. And then I can divide 56 divided by 5. 5 goes into 5 one time. I get 0. Bring down my 6. 5 goes into 6 one time. I get 1. And then I can write my answer as a mixed number, 11 and 1/5. If I were going to do another example here, I could say 10 divided by 2. And we don't have to use the multiply by the reciprocal rule here, but let's show how division is always equal to multiply by the reciprocal. We know 10 divided by 2 is 5. But I could say that that's keep the 10, because we always keep the first number the same, change the symbol to multiplication, and the reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. 10 times 1/2, 10/1 times 1/2 is 10/2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. 10/2 is equal to 5. So all division problems are equal to multiply by the reciprocal. Just remember, keep the first number the same, change the sign to multiplication, and then flip or find the reciprocal of the second value. Let's look at another problem here. Here you were given a student's work for this division problem. Did this student take 14 divided by 2/7? Did this student take 14 divided by 2/7 and apply the keep, change, flip, keep, change, flip rule, or multiply by the reciprocal is the correct way to say it? Did they apply that correctly? So did they keep the first number as 14, change the division sign to multiplication, and flip the second number? No, they did not. So no, this is not the correct way, because what should they have done instead? They should have kept 14 the same. They found the reciprocal of the first number. You do not do that when you're dividing. You do the reciprocal of what you're dividing by. So keep the 14, change the division sign to multiplication, and then the reciprocal of 2/7 is 7 over 2. Then you can multiply, and 14 times 7 is 98 over 1 times 2 is 2, and 98 divided by 2, 2 goes into 9 4 times. Bring down my 8, 2 goes into 18 9 times. So my answer should be 49, not 1 over 49. So they did not come up with the correct answer because they did not apply the rule correctly. You're supposed to keep the first number and multiply by the reciprocal, which means you end up flipping the second value. Okay, this problem gives you mixed numbers, and it wants your answer in a mixed number in simplest form. So we want an answer in simplest form. Whenever you're working with mixed numbers, the first thing you need to do is change them to improper fractions. Always use improper fractions before you apply the keep, change, flip rule. Before you multiply by the reciprocal, you have to have improper fractions. So that means you would change 3 1/2 to something over 2. To find the numerator, go around. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So 3 1/2 is equal to 7 over 2. Divided by 2 1/4 is something over 4. Go around, multiply, then add. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. So 9 divided by 4. Now we can apply our rule. Multiply by the reciprocal. Keep the first number. Change the sign to multiplication. And flip the second number. Keep 7 over 2. And multiply by 4 over 9. I can go ahead and multiply straight across and get 28 over 18. 28 over 18 can be divided by 2 to be simplified to 14 over 9. Another option that you have before you multiply, you could simplify, because we see these two numbers across from each other are divisible by 2, and when we divide by 2, we get 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then we multiply top times top. 7 times 2 is 14, and 1 times 9 is 9. But they want their answer in a mixed number format, so we now need to divide. 14 divided by 9. 9 goes into 14 one time, with 5 left over out of 9. So my A value is 1, my B value is 5, and my C value is 9. A equals 1, B equals 5, and C equals 9. Hope that helped with dividing fractions and using the rule for multiply by the reciprocal. Thank you.